What's up, otakus? Oh, hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving. Um, our household, my wife's Japanese and she's not a fan of turkey because she never grew up with American Thanksgiving. And she's really only come to know of turkey while dating me and marrying me, um, being married to me, I should say. Uh, I remember early on when we were dating, I was in I was in Tokyo, and I took her to a Thanksgiving event for expats in Tokyo, and it was good. I mean, it was just legit spread there in Tokyo. Um, it isn't that difficult to get Thanksgiving in Tokyo for expats. There's just a community of people there who want turkey on Thanksgiving, and I had the same experience in Korea as well. Um, Korea, you had to get, you if you went to Itaewon in Korea, there's a lot of restaurants that had the Thanksgiving menu. Um, and in Tokyo, most, you could just kind of look it up online to see who was serving it, but there were a lot of places in Tokyo as well. But yeah, I took my wife, I took my then girlfriend there, and she had turkey for the first time. She enjoyed it, she liked it. Um, but once we moved here, we did Thanksgiving initially. Um, and then she kind of just like said, "Hey, I'm not a big fan of turkey," and Um, I can understand that sentiment. I guess it's it kind of does have like a taste and smell to it. That's if you didn't grow up eating it, you would, and you're not accustomed to it, that you could probably not find palatable. But yeah, I mean, she prefers chicken, and I get it. So we did not have a traditional Thanksgiving with turkey, but we had um, like steak instead, and um, like Japanese food as well. So it was a good Thanksgiving. We did get turkey though. Yesterday we went to a friend's place, and they had the traditional um, American Thanksgiving prepared. So we got turkey. Uh, yeah, I ate a lot yesterday. Um, I mostly filled up on mostly filled up on. They had this like cheese and crackers and like a cranberry cheese, which was really delicious, and I ate a lot of that. But anyway, had a great Thanksgiving weekend, and hope your Thanksgiving was special too. Um, Now today, uh, I so I met up with a guy to do a trade. Shout out to Martin over in where was it? It was in Linwood. Well, actually, not like Northgate, Seattle Northgate. Um, and then we did a trade, and then um, he had to get rid of some books, which I kind of said I'd take from him, and then I picked and chose like the books I wanted. Um, and then I decided, I'm just going to sell the rest. So initially, I went to Linwood Half Price Books, and we picked up some books there. But I didn't end up selling in Linwood. Um, Basically, you know, they don't give you a good price for the books, so I kind of went there. Then we went to Mill Geek Comics to pick up some books, and then I came back and um, we went to Redmond Half Price Books, where we eventually sold the books. So I'm just gonna go over my haul. What's up, Miss So? How you doing? Yeah, there were a lot of Black Friday deals going on. Destiny City Comics had a Black Friday where they were um, basically five for a dollar bin. So basically 20 cents a comic. They were doing that. And they were doing half off modern keys or modern back issues. And just a bunch of good promotional deals. And then I saw a bunch of deals like auctions and deals going um, on Instagram, and they were advertising. LCSs were advertising their deals, and it seemed like you could get like 30% off, like mostly like 25 to 30% off books. So awesome! Glad you went. What'd you get? I'm curious to know what you picked up. Hey Kenneth, what's up? Thanks for hanging out. Um, so um, we're gonna get to the trade first, and then we'll get to what I picked up at Linwood Half Price Books, what I picked up at Mill Geek Comics, um, and then again what I picked up in this trade. So essentially, what I traded like some of my GI Joe and like a Doctor Strange second print for two books. So essentially, I think I gave away like five books for uh, two comics. And these weren't necessarily, I mean, I wanted one, and then I saw this other one, and I was like, yeah, I want that one too. So we kind of worked out a deal. Um, and, I hope to do more deals with this guy. This guy's pretty, you know, he's he's a collector, and he kind of is like in my generation of collecting. He might be a little older. Not sure what his age is, to be honest. He seems like he's older than I am, but then you just never know these days. And so anyway, we kind of just he kind of had books that he wanted, so I knew what to bring, and I kind of took my entire sort of not the entire trade box, but a big chunk of trade box that I thought he might have interest in. And then and I met him close to where he was, so he brought out some of his books, and we were just kind of getting to know each other and picking out books that we wanted. And unfortunately, he had a lot of modern books, but nothing. He didn't have any Jim Lee, and he didn't have any like older books. So uh, yeah, I mean, and I don't think I had anything that he terribly wanted. So it's kind of like we're just kind of mutually picking out stuff we could want, and I basically gave him everything he wanted, and he gave up what I wanted. And there was one book, there are two books again that I got that I feel good about. I guess we'll start with this one here. Um, One of the books I got was Miles Morales. This is, I believe it's volume two, number two, and this is a variant. This is the classic homage variant edition, and it's a uh, homage of Spider-Man 1, Volume 2 1, Todd McFarlane cover. And I think, I'm not sure who the artist is, but it's a pretty decent like homage cover. Captures that same essence. Got these like big red spiders all around. Miles has looks like he has like red soled kicks. Um, yeah, um, I thought it was a cool cover. So yeah, yeah, the red. I totally agree. The red accents on this cover with the spiders, it's really pops. So yeah, I thought, yeah, this is something I wouldn't mind having. And again, it's like, I, it's not like everything I wanted in terms of like this is not necessarily falls into my um, what I want to add to my PC, but I can see, you know, I see value in this just because I do have the original cover of this. I also have the Spawn homage, so I figured, you know, just a cool thing to kind of add to the collection. So um, we traded for it. Um, I was supposed to do another trade with Brandon. Basically, he was going to trade me this rare Jim Lee book. It's EverQuest Ruins of Kunark. It's a Jim Lee cover. And I was going to give him Heavy Metal 2, was it? Heavy Metal 288. Sort of my mid grade copy. It's got some creases and stuff. And it's the first appearance of Peach Momoko in comic books. And I was going to do this trade. And then over the weekend, I was kind of like mulling it because I was going to meet him this upcoming week to do the trade. And then I realized, even though I have two copies of this particular book, it's a significant book. And as great, you don't run into that Jim Lee cover every day, but EverQuest, I just feel like, like it's not, it's some kind of game, I guess. I just don't know. The only reason I wanted is because Jim Lee had worked on the cover and it was one of the books that he's worked on. Um, but then I realized, like I'd rather have the Peach Momoko first art. Um, I'd rather, even though it's multiple copies, I'd rather have that in my collection than that particular Jim Lee book. And I'm thinking I can find that Jim Lee. If I'm patient and I wait, I'll be able to pick that Jim Lee book up from somewhere and hopefully get it for a decent price. So yeah, I just did an internal, the calculus in my head and just figured I'm just going to stick with um, that heavy metal book. So apologies to Brandon. I know I kind of committed to it on Instagram that we would do the trade, but I did message him saying, I thought about it, going to keep the book. So um, anyway, I still have a bunch of books to trade. So if you want to get in on that, please message me. All right. So this is the second book we picked up from Martin, and it was a dead like ringer for what I wanted. So I was willing to give him, kind of try to give him as much as he wanted for it. Luckily, he wasn't asking for much. He just kind of picked out the books he wanted, and I said, yeah, two for, I think 5 or 6 books, go for it. He did get a little bit more value out of the trade than I did. Well, depending on how you value these books, but um, this is a beautiful cover. It's Miles Morales #1, but it's the Peach Momoko variant, and it's this Peach Momoko. I didn't have a Miles Peach Momoko in my collection, but I do now. And her take on the Miles costume is pretty rad. And with Peach, she just does these like spiders, so like the webbing and the spiders so well on her spider related covers. Yeah, these spiders are just super big and creepy. So yeah, this was. I mean, this um, is definitely a book to add to my collection because I do. Again, I want to trade all my books for either Jim Lee, Peach Momoko, like Brian Ball, like artists I collect. So she's one of the artists I really collect, and this is again a great cover. Um, Key first issue on for Miles Morales. So really nice pickup there on that trade. All right. So the rest of this, let's see here. We got one, two, three, four, five. The rest of these books costs me about $21. So I got five books for $21. It's usually this is more than I usually spend on a haul, and we'll get into the reasons why as we do it. But again, I stopped in um, at Half Price Books in Linwood, and they didn't have much there at Linwood. Um, and again, I didn't sell my books there, so I just kind of dropped in, see what I could get for the books. I hadn't been in Linwood for a while, so I was really there just to dig through and see what we could find. I did was able to dig through everything, like the 50-cent bins, the dollar bins. Well, no, I didn't get to the dollar bins, but I figured there wasn't going to be much in the dollar bins. Maybe I should have looked though. But sort of their older issues and some of the modern issues. Um, and the only thing we could find was this particular book. And in hindsight, I'm kind of bummed that I got it because when I got it, I thought it was better grade. But then when I actually got it and took a closer look, the grade is not all that. I mean, it's a mid-grade book for sure, which on a book from this era is not the best thing. But it is what it is. It's just sort of a check off the list. Picked this up for $2 at Half Price Books. Probably, I mean, if it were in decent grade, I would be happy with it. But given the grade that it was, I think we did overpay. But it's Uncanny X-Men 233 newsstand. Again, it's when you take a closer look here, you can see that first of all, it needs a clean. Desperately needs a clean or wipe down. But also there's just a lot of sort of fading and wear on the top corner there. The staples look kind of rusty. Just disappointing. I mean, when I looked at it, I thought, yeah, for $2 I'll do this. But then again, looking at it now, and the staples look just like they're barely hanging on. And just no creases though. It's just it was probably a well-read, well-handled book, but luckily no creases. Just, but still, I would put it in the mid-grade just because of the wear on the spine. You get a good look right there. See, you can see the staple. Looks like it's about to pop on the staple there. Actually, you can't see it right there. You can see the staple creases there as well. See, and then there's that fading there near the top corner. Just not. Yeah, it is what it is. It's a Brood cover. Love the Brood storyline back in the day. Um, it was kind of like Aliens meets X-Men. Um, uh, so it was just it's good nostalgia for me in terms of getting this book. Um, I just wish it were just a little better condition, but again, sort of just to check off our X-Men list. All right, so the next two books we picked up at Mill Geek. We went to Mill Geek. Russ was in the shop today, um, and we had a nice little conversation about the Mariners. And sounds like he's busy planning um, con circuit stuff. So yeah, it was just really fun. So as you know, I stopped in to Mill Geek on what was it, Tuesday, uh, without remembering. Tuesday they're only open by appointment. So I went in and he kind of like said, "Hey, sorry, we're closed. If you could come back Wednesday." Um, I specifically was looking for a specific book, and he said, "Hey, I have that book, so if you come back Wednesday, we pick it up." I wasn't able to go Wednesday, but today I dropped in um, for two reasons. I wanted to pick that book up, and I also wanted to kind of dig through and see if I could find some of the books on my want list in the 50-cent bin. So we did a good amount of digging. We didn't dig through everything because, again, I just wanted to get to half price books, um, sell the books that I got from Martin, and then head back home. So we did a fair amount of just like straightforward digging, speed digging. Uh, they did. I mean, they had some stuff that I wanted, but I just I said I'll pick it up another day. Um, and we really just came in to get that one book that Russ said he would put off to the side for me. So let's get to it. I only picked up two books from the 50-cent bin. And they're not major books, but they're Jim Lee books. One is, this is probably my fifth copy of this book, but this one's in high grade, and I just can't leave a book like this for 50 cents. I got to pick it. I don't mind having multiples of this, but it's just such an amazing cover. So picked up another X-Men annual. this is like my fifth or sixth copy. But again, for 50 cents, I don't mind. So, a lot of people who collect the Jim Lee run of this, they only focus on 1 through 11, and they kind of, uh, I'm sure, inadvertently leave off the annual. But and he didn't work on the interior of this book at all. He just did the cover of the annual. But this is such. I mean, if you look at X-Men 1 through 11, there's a lot of great cover art and work in there. But I mean, this has to be up there in terms of like a team shot, right? So that's why I just like this book. So again, high grade. Really, what you want to look at here is the spine. The spine's really clean. I just love this book, so I'll pick it up each and every time if I can. And that's what we did today. For 50 cents, we picked up another copy of X-Men Annual #1. There's a bunch of creators in this as well, like up and coming creators. But again, it's that cover that just sold me, sells me every time again. I think my sixth copy of this book. It's getting ridiculous because it's a thick book. It does take up a lot of space as well. So yeah, if you want this book, it's available for trade. I just can't leave it there for 50 cents. It's just force of habit. Now, again, I was going there to pick up some Jim Lee books. Didn't see anything in particular that I wanted, but I did run across this book. I don't have this book, and I'm just taking my time with the sort of the death blow. Um, I love the death blow art. The story is another thing. We're talking story. Uh, that's a completely different thing. But the visuals of Death Blow, the cover art, the interior art of Death Blow, is really um, kind of very different from what we're accustomed to seeing from Jim Lee. And I think it has a lot to do with, again, with Jim Lee and Tim Sale working together on this book. So I just love this cover here, just exemplary of that collaboration. And we love Tim Sale art. Um, we love Jim Lee. So this to me was a no brainer. Picked it up for 50 cents. And yeah, just a great pickup. Great cover by the master himself, Jim Lee. So picked up, again, two books for 50 cents. And then we're going to get to the book of the haul. I picked up two modern books, and we paid full cover for these books. Now, I normally don't do something like that. I'm usually kind of like, first of all, I don't pick up books that come out, um, books that come out um, like um, that are just released. I should put it that way, right? Generally, um, I'll try to find them in the back bins. And I'm not really collecting this current era of comic books. So yeah, it's just not. I'm just not accustomed to picking up books for cover price in today's market, in the current comic book market, because you're paying what, for $3.99 to as much as $9.99 for certain books, um, and sometimes those prices are warranted, sometimes, but for the most part, I'm not interested in doing that. But there's one book that I definitely want to add to the collection, because I do like the book. I didn't own it when I was collecting, but it was definitely a big book um, when it came out, and had been throughout my collecting days as well. It wasn't worth that much back in the days, um, but it was a big key. Uh, but yeah, just over the years, I kind of wanted the book, and I could always kind of. There's a lot of this book available. You just kind of have to pay top dollar depending on like what grade and what range you're comfortable with. So it's always kind of been on my want list. I've just never had an opportunity to buy it or pick it up. Um, because it's just one of those books you kind of think it think to yourself in the back of your head, oh, I'll pick it up someday. I'll pick it up someday, but you just never get around to doing it. And it is a big lift in terms of price if you do pick it up. So it's an investment. But I finally got Amazing Spider-Man 300, but got the reprint, and it doesn't feel the same. Obviously, you want the original, but it, just having the cover, even if it's a reprint, it just something to have to add to the collection. And I did pay $6.99 for it. So yeah, finally have this great McFarlane cover in my collection, and I'm sure we'll still aim to pick up the original copy of this, the first print copy of this, at some point. Um, but for now, it was sitting there, and I was just like, yeah, let's pick it up. So um, happy with that purchase. Just a great cover there. Oh goodness. So ASM. All right, so now to our book of the haul. This was not a big haul. We had 5 books. Oh wait, yeah, 5 books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books. 2 from a trade. Sorry, what is this? I can't count. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. 2 from a trade and 5 from Mill Geek and Half Price Books. This next book, as you all know, it's been on my want list ever since it was announced, and I'm gonna connect the dots for you right now. Hang on. Okay, so first off, it's what's the best way to put this? First of all, you guys know what it's basically the third connecting cover to this mirror cover here. So for the longest time, Superman 204, Batman 608 second print, it was just this thought of as a mirror cover, right? Like the two heroes, day, night, light, dark. Um, I don't want to say good, evil, but the Gotham, Metropolis. And again, just a beautiful cover there. It's a connecting cover. And, for the longest time, that, that came out 20 years ago. And to this day, it remains kind of one of Jim Lee's most iconic connecting, if not probably the most iconic connecting cover. I mean, you could count X-Men 1. Um, that's probably the top, but this one would probably take a close second. But it was announced they have a new volume of Wonder Woman, and Jim Lee did a variant cover for that. And it was announced that this is the third piece to this connecting cover. So, to everybody's surprise, like I guess Jim had, I mean, it makes sense, right? It's the Trinity. It's the Trinity of DC, the 3 heroes, the 3 foundational heroes, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. And it makes sense. But what you have now is that third piece. And again, I went into Mill Geek, and again, it's my fault because I should have picked this book up as soon as it came out. Um, Dumbass me waited, what is it, almost a month after it's come out to expect to find this book just sitting there for me. All right, so good night. Um, my mistake. So I've been looking for this book at a couple of my LCSs. No one has the trade dress version where it's Wonder Woman #1, you know, um, and just the basic cover, right? It's the basic, I think, $4.99 cover. That's the one we wanted for this particular collection because It's what I have here. It's what I have here. And that Wonder Woman, we want to get it signed, slabbed, and have it. That's the third piece in this collection. And you know, that's kind of what we want to do. But then I went to Russ's earlier this week and he said, "Oh, yeah, I have that." And so I kind of went in today and he did have it, but it wasn't necessarily the one we wanted. It is a nice one, though. It is a really, really nice one. It's the foil variant. It is so shiny and beautiful. And again, it's a virgin cover, so there's not much. They only got the DC logo here. That's it. It's just the image. Um, but it is that third piece. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these down here, give you a taste of what it, I guess, looks like here. Put it on the desk here, and I can turn the camera around, I guess. Let's see here. Just get it going right. All right, so hopefully you can see it here. Got the third connecting piece right there. Oh, there's the lighting. Yeah, you don't get the full effect there, but that's what we're going for. So that was just sort of a wasted effort there. But yeah, finally got the third piece to that puzzle. And yeah, I think long-term project-wise, what we eventually want to do is we want to get the trade dress copy. We want to get that signed by Jim Lee and slabbed. Hopefully, it comes back at 9.4, because then we could do Superman 9.6, Wonder Woman 9.4, and Batman 9.2, something like that. Because we wanted the mirror grades, we didn't get the mirror grades. This is like the third best alternative. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to find a 9.4 copy of Wonder. I know that's good. So like arbitrary in terms of the 9.4 grading. I think a 9.4 is just like maybe the most minuscule of spine ticks, and then that's it, right? So that's kind of what we're hoping for, and that's a long-term project because we don't know when Jim Lee's gonna. I mean, I'm sure he'll do like a CGC signing at some point next year, so we could essentially send him one book and pay that $120 CGC fee for that. I mean, that's eventually what we're going to have to do, whether it's through a signing event. We're going to have to pay up some money to CGC to get that done. But yeah, I mean, at the same time, this version foil variant is also feels very good, and we'll just sit there in between the Trinity, um, and that feels good too. So it's not like I'm not terribly like. I initially just again I waited a month, so it wasn't like urgent on my list of things to do in terms of picking up this book. I did want this book very badly, and I again mistakenly assumed I'd be able to just walk in an LCS and find a copy. Um, but that was not the case. I think this was actually Russ's last copy too, or maybe he has a few copies left. But fortunate to get this pickup, and it is a beautiful book. I mean, the foil just pops when you put it in the light at a certain angle. The art just really really pops, cleanly pops. Um, it's just so shiny and brand new. Um, love it, love it. So I know a few of you added the foil connecting variants. That probably would be another good way to go. I know they had the Superman foil there. They did not have the Batman foil. Um, I would imagine the Batman foil was just gone as soon as it became available. But yeah, um, long term kind of thing. So again, paid full. I think this was $9.99. I'm assuming it was because that would make the math add up correctly. So we paid $9.99 for this. We paid so $10, $7, then a couple 50-cent books. So um, yeah, pretty pleased with this haul. Even though it's more than what we normally spend, we did get two books that really feel good in the collection. You know, it's like this is great. Um, if I never get ASM 300, I'm fine with just this having this in the collection as even not even a placeholder, but as the copy that is just sits in my collection. So this, on the other hand, I do want that. I do want the. I kind of want both versions, but this version is definitely. Um, I couldn't say no to this. When Russ was like, "Oh, I don't have that version. I have the foil version," and I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll take that." So yeah, that's what we picked up. So thanks for hanging out. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Keep hunting, and hopefully, yeah, I've got a couple more books on my list, so I'm not going to stop. I know it's the end of the year. Hopefully, we can find some good deals at the comic shops through Christmas, and we'll see what we pick up. But for the most part, um, it's been kind of a big year for pickups and comic books. So I'll probably put out, best pickups of. I always do my best pickups of 2020, whatever year we're in. So I'll do the best pickups of 2023 um, in the coming weeks. I'll also do probably my top 10. I don't know, my top 10 like covers of 2023, something to that effect. I have to figure out exactly what we're gonna do, but we'll do something. But yeah, happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.